which is very important to register over here, that the significance of periodical press, I think we have tried to establish, and kind of, we hope we've convinced you that it's important. It was realized across regions, across languages in India in the 19th century. And therefore, the debate was therefore, what should be the language, what should be the content. I am tempted to use at least one or two examples. So, one of the proceedings of Calcutta School Book Society that registered, and it was also published in other periodicals of the time, a petition submitted and signed by, and I quote, 16 Brahmin and Kayastha Bhadralok. So, what they said that, there's a market going on, and a lot of reprints are happening. People are publishing Ramayana, and people are publishing Kama Sutra. They are publishing Mahabharata. They are publishing Rati Manjari. So these people who are making money out of it, who are only commercially interested, they have no idea what they are doing. These are profanities which should be kept out of this, august print market, so to speak. And that's why it is best to leave this business to the people who have been taking care for ages. In other words, the Brahmins, the related Brahmins, who are best to, men of the letters, so to speak. And it went on, this negotiation, this pressurization went on, and as it was normalized throughout that period, what happened is, it became a sanitized platform where it was impossible to raise the words about so-called the caste question. Right. On the other hand, the other aspect that we should also take into consideration is, for the production and sustaining any periodical press, you need the printing press or access to it, right? It is not that easy. Initially, we saw both in Maharashtra's example or Bengal, what we saw is missionary enterprises, right? But they have their own agendas and own work, translations, and so on. While the upper class, Indians started, venturing into it. So they also had the discourse that we laid in front of you. They went into that path. So where would the lower caste voice get access to a printing press? That's a question. It was not with them. Yes, we had Panchanan Karmakar. We had the artisans with it. But do they have all the raw materials, access to it? So how would we publish, therefore? Another struggle. So now we have to find out some innovative ways. And that is why I think that is why we should understand and appreciate Little Magazine. Again, Little Magazine becomes a big source of ideas here. Innovative ideas of circulation. People are just printing and dumping it somewhere in someone else's conferences. You take it and go home, we don't need your money. Right? So this is why I think we have been talking about this background, and with these 2-3 pointers, I think we should just say that production circulation wise, that's why periodical and Dalit literature, Little Magazine, this is the dynamic, so to speak. We can talk about it if you have further questions on this. Let me therefore build on this a little bit. Now 1960s we have seen what is happening in Bengal till the first half of the 20th century in Maharashtra. In the second half of 20th century, there is all that happened, Little Magazine. Now we have new magazines coming up. What is their tone? How are they, capitalizing on this struggle that their predecessors have, been going through? Some of these are also going through a lot of struggle at this point of time. Still, when Rahul was giving us the dates and all, you must have noticed some of them survive for 2 years. Some of them survive for 1 year. Another feature of this is they change their frequency of appearance. They may have started with a lot of enthusiasm as a weekly, but distributing it free of cost without any subscription, without following the little magazine ethos without any advertisement, it is an enormous challenge. So some of them became fortnightly, quarterly, monthly, so they keep changing their appearance frequency. Right. I will be, let me show you something, like a cover of a Bangla periodical. It's called Adul Bodol. So this one started, this is by Purnendu Potri, one of the very famous illustrationists. So this started in 1985, and for almost 15 years, always the first page, the first story was by Maheshwara Devi. A number of Maheshwara Devi's stories was first published in this magazine. And I will be also reading out a bit from it because Maheshwara Devi also used to run a magazine called Bortika, right, that has been going on for a quite long time. She became one of the last editors of Bortika. Bortika published Chuni's autobiographical text, right? It was republished here in Adul Bodol later. Yeah. So, and this is Aamhi with Baburao Bagul's wonderful photo over here. For Dalit periodicals, it's very informal because there is no guaranteed formal place that you can go and be assured that you can access them. So when we started, that's where our project comes in. When we started a couple of years back, we went to the field work. We went to multiple districts. Started talking to the activists, editors. Even the editors do not have at times. And now there's a similarity between Maharashtra and West Bengal's weather, right? That make us sweat a lot. We are humid. I was just coming from a place and seeing, we had in Kolkata, I went there for 15 days. It was 85% of humidity there, right? So you can imagine how the periodical will look like in my hand. Yeah? You can almost taste it. So without any support whatsoever for the preservation of it, without any formal arrangement of it, with where we have such long rainy season, such humid weather, where you will be storing it with someone. Your name was Mrigakshi, right? Yeah. So Mrigakshi decides that from today onwards I'll start, collecting them and storing them. So 20 years down the line, if some researcher goes to and finds out, oh, Mrigakshi has that, so let me go to Mrigakshi's house. So some of them will be eaten by the insects. Some of them will have water damage. Unfortunately, when we started looking, we see even fire damage. And if there is no damage as such, these raw materials that have been collected, as I was saying, scrap papers and others, very cheap gums, and we started gathering this knowledge. We didn't have that, so we are told that there are certain gums that draw more insects, right? And you use stapler or any kind of metal that is even more harmful, right? Right. So even binding, the kind of stitches that are used, the kind of thread is used, that corrodes the material more. And of course, the cheaper the material is, on their own they destroys this over the period. So this is one part of the problem of preservation. The other being very informal, you never know where it is. The third problem is we are talking about these periodicals which are published in 60s, 70s, right? The editors were 30 years, 40 years old. The collectors were also there. So the people we are expecting to have a collections are in their 80s. Right? During the last 3 years, we lost two people with whom we were working, who were the archivists of this material. One of them donated his collection to us completely, and we are not only grateful but very thankful for what he has done for Bangla periodicals. He has the amount of materials he has managed to store. So what we are saying is there is no guarantee that after five years down the line, if you go, you will find them. They will disappear nonetheless with the people who have archived them. So there is therefore this is at stake, the research possibilities. If this vanishes, the research possibilities also vanishes. So there is an urgency that it sounds very dramatic, but this is how it is. There is an urgency that we need to recover this and preserve them, if possible, of course, digitize them and translate them, because this is a voice that doesn't need to be only known to the Bangla or Marathi people, but across the languages in India and abroad, everywhere. And that's why I think we are having this conversation here today in Nottingham Trent University. So it's very important, and that's where our project comes in. And I'll stop here, Rahul.
Yeah.